Hello, my name is IObioha. So in this recording, I'm demonstrating my completion of the 5.4 Proof Cybersecurity assignment. I will identify two active network ports and explain their purpose, identify two running services related to network communication, create inbound and outbound TCP firewall rules for port 50,000, demonstrate disabling and enabling those rules, and finally show my scheduled tasks for checking Windows updates daily. So here I have my GetNet CPC connection state. As you can see here, I have all here. So I am using PowerShell to display the listening TCP port. On my Windows server. So this allows me to see which ports are currently listening and can also provide the process ID associated with each connection. So the first port I selected is a 3389 port, and is currently used by remote desktop protocol or RDP. This is relevant to my server because I use RDP to remotely access the Windows server. This helped me understand that RDP access depends on network communication through a specific port that can also be controlled by the firewall. So the second port I selected is TCP port 135. The port is commonly associated with Microsoft RPC Endpoint Mapper. RPC allows different Windows components and services to communicate, and the Endpoint Mapper helps clients identify the appropriate RPC service. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show net states. So the final column represents the process ID or PID. This allows an administrator to associate a network connection with the process responsible for it. So the next, I'm reviewing the running Windows services. I'm particularly interested in services involved in network communication. So the first service I selected is the DNS server service. DNS is important because it translates names into IP addresses and allows systems and services to locate resources using names instead of requiring users to remember IP addresses.
Time to get ready. It is August 16th, 0 o'clock. I'm always here by your side, ready to assist you.
So the first service I selected is the DNS server service. DNS is important because it translates names into IP addresses and allows system and services to locate resources using names instead of requiring users to remember IP addresses. So the second service I selected is remote desktop services. So this service supports remote desktop connections, which allows administrators and authorized users to remotely access Windows system. So the reason I created separate rules is that inbound and outbound traffic are separate direction in Windows Firewall. The assignment requires both directions to allow TCP traffic on port of 50,000. Now, this verifies that the firewall rules are configured for TCP IP and port 50,000. So I am now going to demonstrate how to turn the firewall rules off and disable both the inbound and outbound rules. Okay, so the rules remain configured, but they are now disabled. So I have enabled both rules again. This demonstrates that the firewall rule can be temporarily disabled without deleting the configuration. So this assignment helped me understand that cybersecurity is not only about identifying threats, it also provides understanding the services and the ports that make communication possible, then controlling the communication appropriately. I learned how to identify listening network ports, associate ports with processes, examine running services, configure Windows firewall rules, and automate administrative maintenance with task scheduler. I have completed the required cybersecurity tasks for this assignment. Thank you.